Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. I upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays, with some extras sprinkled in here and there, like right now we are in the middle of Banned Books Week. And today we will be talking about one that has been banned for its unfair and inaccurate portrayal of the agricultural community and landowners by criticizing the treatment of migrant workers, as well as portrayal of class conflict, pro-union, and perceived communist themes, profanity, violence, and sexually explicit content. That is The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. Let's get into it. So this one is a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel for 1940. It won the National Book Award in 1939 for fiction, and placed silver in 1939 for the California Book Award for general literature. This book takes place during the Great Depression. Let's start with the book blurb. The Pulitzer Prize-winning epic of the Great Depression, a book that galvanized and sometimes outraged millions of readers. First published in 1939, Steinbeck's Pulitzer Prize-winning epic of the Great Depression chronicles the Dust Bowl migration of the 1930s and tells the story of one Oklahoma family, the Joads, driven from their homestead and forced to travel west to the promised land of California. Out of their trials and their repeated collisions against the hard realities of America divided into the haves and the have-nots, evolves a drama that is immensely human yet majestic in its scale and moral vision, elemental yet plain-spoken, tragic but ultimately stirring in its human dignity. A portrait of the conflict between the powerful and the powerless, of one man's fierce reaction to injustice and of one woman's stoic strength, the novel captures the horrors of the Great Depression and probes into the very nature of the equity of equality and justice in America. At once a naturalistic epic, captivity narrative, road novel, and transcendental gospel, John Steinbeck's powerful landmark novel is perhaps the most American of American classics. So this one came out in April of 1939. It is 21 hours in audiobook, which is how I consumed it. It's about 496 pages in hardcover. There's about 1 million editions of it. It is public domain. You probably read it in school, or maybe you didn't, because it is a banned and challenged book. This one, while I don't think any book should be banned or challenged or anything like that, I also don't like this book. I kind of hate John Steinbeck. I hate his writing style. I hate his prose. I especially didn't like his retelling of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, because he borrowed from a better author and just kind of slapped his name on it. He updated the language, and they're like, look, it's a new novel, I wrote this. And I'm like, well, you updated the language, you didn't really write it. You paraphrased it, and like, I don't like this one. I didn't like East of Eden. I didn't like Of Mice and Men. I didn't like his version of King Arthur. I don't like The Grapes of Wrath. I didn't enjoy The Pearl. I'm just not a fan of John Steinbeck. That being said, I feel like this book isn't interesting enough to be banned. Like, it's a high school book. It's not a middle school book. It is a high school book. And it's banned for sexuality, which you're in high school. You're experimenting with sexuality. You're experimenting with all these sorts of things. Like, that's not a good enough reason. And it's not terribly explicit or anything like that. There's profanity. There's profanity in lots of great literature. Sometimes the situation necessitates the use of swearing. Like, studies have been done that if you're in physical pain and you start swearing, that it actually eases the pain and the tension in your body and helps you feel better. Well, it's communist. It's not so much communist as socialist, but okay, fine. Maybe we use that as a jumping off point to a lesson and explain why we're for or against whatever we think it's teaching. Why don't we incorporate that into the lesson plan? That's kind of like Animal Farm. It got banned by the Soviets for being too capitalist, and it got banned by the capitalists for being too communist. And it's like, pick one and then teach about it. Don't just ban the book outright. Like, that's just silly. Because all banning something does, I don't know if y'all were teenagers out there once upon a time, but as soon as something I wasn't allowed to read a book, the only thing I wanted was to read that book. The Grapes of Wrath is one of those books that it's like, ooh, it's banned. It's like catnip to people who are gonna read it. They're gonna read it. The people who aren't gonna read it, there's no reason to ban it because they weren't gonna read it anyway. Like, it's a book from, let's see, it's 2025 now. It came out in 1939. It came out a while ago. This book came out 86 years ago. And it's still getting banned and challenged from school districts. The people who want to read it are going to read it. The people who don't, you shouldn't be forced to, because I don't think it's very good. But if you want to teach it in class, I think you should teach it and take these things that are found to be objectionable and either skip those chapters, which is what we did with a book we read in my high school. We read Of Mice and Men, and the chapters that were objectionable, we just skipped and read a synopsis of that chapter and then kept reading the book as a class. But we weren't given like blackout copies of the book or like censored copies of the book. If you wanted to take it home and read it on your own time, that was fine. We just weren't going to read that aloud popcorn style in class. Speaking of, I hated popcorn style reading. It made me so anxious. I am not a good reader. I know that. I'm very dyslexic. And the just randomly calling on people to read the next paragraph terrified me, because I was one of those kids that if we were reading in order, I would count ahead the number of paragraphs, read my paragraph until I kind of had it memorized, and then I could just speak it instead of trying to read it. I was that kid. Anyway, I think you should still teach the classics. This one probably should be taught. I just don't like it. And just because I don't like a book doesn't mean I want it to be banned. I haven't liked anything this author has written. I haven't liked anything I've read from Steinbeck. But I'm not going to lead the charge to get his books banned from schools. Just because I think it's bad writing and lazy writing and boring writing doesn't mean it should be banned. In fact, that's probably a reason why you should be teaching it. Because you could say, okay, we have this section here where he's telling us how the character feels. How would you rewrite this and turn it into a creative writing assignment? This section right here, these couple paragraphs aren't good writing. How would you make them better writing? And turn it into a writing assignment. Ta-da! There's your lesson plan. All of these reasons to ban a book or to challenge a book, I don't think these parents or these community members are seeing the bigger picture. There's objectionable things in everything. There are school districts out there who have banned the Bible for sexually explicit material. There's something objectionable in every book if you look hard enough. I'm sure there's a school district out there who had someone bring forth a motion to ban Pete the Cat, because he's just too jazzy, and jazz is liquor and dancing and loose women. Or I'm sure that's happened somewhere, because that's just the kind of idiocy that comes with banning books. Have you read The Grapes of Wrath? Did you get through it? Were you rewarded for your efforts? Yes, I have read it. Yes, I did read the whole thing. I was bored out of my mind. I had to take what I'm calling smut breaks and read something that was actually interesting while I was reading it. Let me know what you thought of this book, if you've read it, or if you're going to read it, or if you're not going to read it. Tell me down below. Do you have a favorite banned book or challenged book out there? I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Happy Banned Books Week. Bye.